Hey everybody, it's Lashes Lane, and this is episode 20 of the Sober Showgirl podcast. Guys, we made it to 20 episodes. How crazy is that? 20 episodes. This is actually going to be the season finale of the podcast, and I will be taking a short break as I prep for season 2, which will be even more sparkly and it's going to be fabulous. So get ready for that. If you guys are not subscribed to my YouTube channel and you are listening to this on a different platform, I urge you to go to the Life with Lashes YouTube channel and subscribe, because I will be posting, in place of the Sober Showgirl, some cool mocktail content and some sober lifestyle content there. So even though the podcast will be going away for a couple of months, it doesn't mean that I won't be posting sober content. So definitely make sure you are following me on YouTube and then Instagram, of course. If you guys are listening to this episode today and you notice a change in my voice, I am fighting a little cold right now, but I still wanted to take the time to film because this episode is so important to me and I didn't want to delay it any longer. So I do have a little bit of a cold, but that's okay. I just had some electrolyte water and I am feeling all right. I'm feeling happy that we are here hanging out together, sharing our sober journey. So let's start the podcast. I wanted to talk to you guys about what my sober-versary week looks like. 3 years sober as of June 20th, 2024. So very, very exciting. I kind of had a loungy day on June 20th, just hung out and like vibed with the cats and stuff because the following couple of days were pretty busy. I got hired at a luxury resort as their wellness instructor, which is super cool. I definitely manifested that. I was working as a personal trainer at like a bro gym prior to this opportunity, and I was definitely like just not thriving with the misogynistic energy, and I was getting heckled every day from the gym regulars who were just like gross dudes and the gym staff. So it was not an environment for me, and I would manifest like every day, I want to get hired by a luxury resort, and then I did. So didn't take much time either. So it was a blessing. I was only at the bro gym for like, I would say, doing floor hours for like a month. I am really excited to be in my new environment with an amazing team and with really great vibes, everything that I wished for and manifested. So yay me. It's very unfortunate that there are still places that are so shitty towards women. So it's just crazy that that exists and that people have to deal with that, like I just dealt with. So if you're in a crappy situation with a bunch of bro dudes and you are feeling harassed, definitely talk to HR, even if you quit and find something better. Got sidetracked there, but all of that's very important. A little side story, a little side quest. I was heckled at this bro dude gym, I will not name the name, by the front desk guy about my sobriety. Everyone knew that I didn't drink because people will ask like lifestyle questions or whatever, and I'm like, oh, I don't drink alcohol. So that was kind of a known thing. I'm pretty public about it. I don't go into much detail most of the time. I'll just say, oh, I don't drink alcohol, or oh, I'm sober. And he's like, what? You've been sober for a couple years now. Like it's time for you to get back on the drinking train, and you can start drinking now. I was like being a total asshole about it, and I felt super harassed and uncomfortable. One of the trainers, who was not very cool, he actually did pipe up and tell the guy to shut up, but I mean, I stuck up for myself as well, but it made the other crappy people that worked there be like, yo, dude, check yourself. So that's how you know, like, that person was being super wrong, when like the other misogynistic dudes are like, you took it too far, bro. But anyway, bro dudes, bleh. If you're going to be a bro dude, don't be a misogynistic one, okay? Anyway, the reason that I even got on this topic is I wanted to tell you guys about the week of my 3-year soberversary. I got hired again at a new place with good vibes, and it's the place I manifested. So exciting. But I had a 2-day orientation right after my soberversary, and I just kind of wanted to chill that day because I knew it was going to be a long 2 days of corporate stuff and, business attire and lots of classes and stuff. So I was like, all right, I would rather just chill because the next day I had my trainings and then I got to see my dad perform in a band, which was amazing. And then the day after that, I performed as Ariel in a fairy tale ball. Fairy Tales by Tabitha is the one that put that ball on, and it was so good. I've been doing princess stuff for a while since I was like 17 at Walt Disney World, and I worked with multiple companies. And Fairy Tales with Tabitha was definitely the best company I've ever worked with. Way better than Disney, way better than a Disney experience, way better than any other character experience I've ever had. So if you are looking to book princess entertainment for your kiddos or for a corporate event, Fairy Tales with Tabitha. I just realized I kept saying Fairy Tales with Tabitha. It's Fairy Tales by Tabitha. Fairy Tales by Tabitha is the company that you should definitely go with because they are amazing. And I had a wonderful time. It was a great ball. And then I had my first day at my new job teaching classes at a luxury resort. So that was very exciting. It was an amazing week. And the day of my soberversary, I was like really reflecting on where my life was before. So like 3 years prior and how it felt to be not sober and in the thick of active addiction with alcohol. And I'm so proud of myself for making this change. I'm so proud of myself for sticking with it. I had tried to quit alcohol previously before I decided, okay, this is the time and stuck with it. Now 3 years later, we're here and it's hard to quit. It's hard because it's so ingrained in our routines. So I'm proud of myself for making the change and really looking within and seeing that I didn't like where my life was going and wanting to create a life for myself that I was proud of and be a good role model and actually, chase my dreams without distractions, without hangovers, without blackouts, without letting those demons win that are so pushed down, and then they come up when you drink. I used to drink a lot when I was depressed, and it would bring out all of my inner demons, and they would really not be cool, It was like the worst thing for my mental health. And everyone always thinks that when they drink, they have a drink and then they are relaxed. No, you have a drink, you might feel relaxed for a hot minute, but then it really does make your anxiety spike. It makes your anxiety worse. And for me, I know I would drink and then I would feel worse every time. I would have that small false sense of euphoria and then it would just get worse and it would not be good. It would be just a deep, dark depression spiral. So that's what alcohol would do to me. It was quote unquote fun for a hot minute and then it would just get to be really dark and it would put me in a really dark headspace. So I'm really glad that I'm away from that and I'm really proud that I broke that cycle and that I decided to change my life for the better. I'm really proud of myself. Now I want to talk to you guys about the recovery process because when you are addicted to something and it's a part of your routine, it's hard to quit. And I've touched on this before, but I had the worst sensory overload ever. Everything felt so noisy. I wore earplugs. It just felt like everything was amplified because I was drinking a couple times a day. And sometimes I would start drinking as early as noon. And in a way, it does kind of numb your senses, because you're drunk and you're in your own little weird drunk bubble. And it's not good. But when you stop drinking, everything can feel so noisy because you were blocking all this out before or attempting to block it out with alcohol. So I really did suffer from crazy sensory overload and I would have really bad cravings. I worked at the Mummy for a little while post COVID or during COVID. Yeah, like 2020, still masks. So yeah, COVID. Thank you for figuring that out with me. But yeah, during COVID, there wasn't a lot of entertainment options. So I was working at the Mummy at Universal, and it was really stressful because people were so mean, especially with like making them put on masks, because we had to. It was like a procedure thing. Like we had to make them put masks on and like use hand sanitizer. So people were kind of nasty, and then I would have anxiety and I would come home and I would want to drink. So I would lean on a lot of the non-alcoholic wines and stuff, but sensory overload at a theme park was crazy for me. Everything just felt so loud, and I just felt like I needed that non-alcoholic wine at least when I got home. It definitely helped me recover because I replaced drinking wine after work with non-alcoholic wine. So that helped because I couldn't get away from wanting the taste after work. So I did that for a little while and it definitely helped, but the sensory overload was crazy and I felt really like anxious in public and it was hard. So I ended up saying quite frequently, I feel like I need a therapy animal. I feel like I need a therapy animal. I feel like I need a therapy animal that's like trained to calm me down. And we ended up getting Bruce, the cat. It was just one of those things where my husband just kind of fell in love with him. And he was like, I feel like he'd be a great support system for Lashes. And we ended up bringing him home and he is just that. He is such a sweet snuggler and he's always right by my side. So he ended up being the perfect little therapy dog for me. He acts like a dog. That's why I say, I know he's a cat, but he acts like a dog. Yeah, so that's like a huge change, you know. Before sobriety, we had 2 cats and now we have 2 cats and a therapy dog cat. So pretty wild. He fits in great and he takes really good care of me. He's such a good dog. I do when it gets colder out because it's so warm right now. I want to start putting him in a stroller and see if I can travel with him because I think he would do well because he's very social and he is kind of like a puppy in personality. So that's something that happened to help me with anxiety and stuff. When life throws you problems, get a cat. Period. We just talked a little bit about mental health. I do want to talk about physical health as well. But before we wrap up the mental health portion, I just want to say, I think that when you are drinking, it is so hard to manage your anxiety because you are trying to navigate anxiety with booze and that just clouds your judgment and it makes it really hard to navigate the situation. When you take booze out of the equation and you're trying to navigate your anxiety booze free, it gets easier to navigate the situation with a clear head and actually see the outcome that you want, which I think is so important when you are drinking alcohol and you're hungover all the time. Your judgment's going to be kind of cloudy, and I feel like that is not a good way to navigate your anxiety. It's not a good way to navigate your feelings, and it's just really hard. So being sober has definitely been a great help for me in mental health, and I got a cat out of it too, guys. So if you're thinking about getting sober, I mean, it just means that your husband's going to buy you a cat, and if you don't have a husband, you can just buy a cat yourself, you know? But in all seriousness, navigating anxiety and depression with alcohol is a very dangerous thing. Once you get sober, it is so much easier to figure out how you want to navigate anxiety in a easier, healthier way. There's a lot of different ways to navigate it. Some people go to therapy. Some people do like deep meditation and they do it very ritualistically to get themselves in a good pattern. Journaling is a great way to sort out your thoughts. It might not be a way to cure your mental health and it might not get rid of your anxiety altogether, but I know when I journal and I'm feeling anxious, it helps me get my feelings at least out there, and sometimes it helps me make a better plan. These are not things that are going to cure your anxiety. They're not things that are going to make you 100% anxiety free. I still suffer from anxiety, but it does help you manage it better. And it does help sort out your thoughts and feelings in a more productive and healthy way, because reaching for that bottle when you're feeling anxious is not going to help you sort out your feelings and thoughts in a healthy, productive way. It's just going to cloud your judgment, and it's not going to help. It might help you make the wrong decisions, actually. So, not helpful. The last thing that I want to talk about in this 3-year sober glow up episode, I want to talk about my relationship with my body. So, trigger warning, eating disorders. If you have listened to this podcast, you've probably heard me talk about this before, but I've definitely had issues with eating disorders on and off in the past, and it's been a huge struggle in my life. Alcohol has played a part in that, and that is definitely something that we will dive deeper into in season 2, because that's a whole episode in itself where we talk about alcohol and eating disorders. It definitely would be a long episode, and there's too much to say for this episode. So I just want to say that, alcohol played a big part in my eating disorder and did not help my body image. I was drinking a lot and super bloated, super hungover, not feeling great about myself, because when you're drinking a lot, you're not nourishing your body, you're not taking care of your body, and you're hungover all the time. Now, I will say at my thinnest, at my skinniest, 100 pounds, about 100 pounds, I was drinking 2 bottles of wine every night. So you can definitely be a functioning alcoholic and be skinny AF, That was like the skinniest I've ever been, and I saved all my calories for my wine. So, body image has always been an issue for me, and alcohol and eating disorders definitely have played a huge part in my life. And again, we'll get into that in season 2. If you're interested in that episode, please leave a comment on this video if you have specific questions about that topic, because we'll definitely get into that deep in season 2. But for now, all I want to say is giving up alcohol was the key to finding my own personal health and wellness and fixing my relationship with food. I actually feel like I'm in a great place genuinely with food. I'm not restricting, and I haven't been restricting, honestly, since I got my personal training certification and went through that course, because I had to learn so much about how much food the body needs, especially if you're trying to build muscle like I am. And I learned that I have been under eating for years, which is crazy. And that's why I never really saw like muscle gain result, because I was under eating and I was not nourishing my body. So, I learned a lot of things. I learned a lot about actually taking care of myself in the health and wellness certification that I took and the personal training certification. I learned literally so much, and I sound a little repetitive right now, but I just want to stress that I really took myself on a journey with those certifications and learned the right ways to treat my body. And I would have never found this career path again in my life, and I would have never taken it serious if I didn't give up alcohol. If I didn't go the sober route, I would have never found health and wellness. And I've always been passionate about fitness, but back before, when I wanted to be a fitness instructor, I was teaching Pilates, and that's when I was about 100 pounds, drinking 2 bottles of wine every night. And my love for group fitness and classes just got lost in me wanting to party. And I was hungover all the time, and I was hungover at my morning classes, and I wasn't putting in the work to make more choreo and give people a good class. Like, I was just doing the bare minimum, and I was not the best group instructor. Like, I really wasn't. And I wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't a good model of the stuff that I was trying to preach about a healthy lifestyle. So now I actually am like practicing what I'm preaching and taking good care of myself. Nobody's perfect. No one's going to have the perfect day, but I'm being really mindful about my personal choices, being mindful about having rest days, about a balanced diet, and not restricting. Balance is key. So I have never really had a super good relationship with my body and food. And this is the first time in my life that I have. And I really think I owe it all to giving up alcohol and going sober. So I think that that's one of the coolest reflections over the past 3 years, because this year is the year that I gained my personal training certification and my health and wellness coaching certification this year. So, I mean, 3 years sober, 2 new certifications, working on certification number 3 pretty soon, and then number 4 pretty soon. So, your girl's out here doing it, pursuing more knowledge for a healthy and well balanced life of mindfulness and, good practices. So it's crazy. I would have never found this if I didn't give up alcohol, because I dabbled in the fitness industry before, but I didn't actually let it sink into my soul, and I didn't really pursue it with passion deeply. And now I'm doing that, and that's really cool. So when you stop thinking about alcohol all the time, because I would wake up and think about alcohol and go to sleep and think about alcohol, and midday think about when are we having drinks. When you get rid of all those thoughts, you have so much more room to learn. I said to my sister the other day, I was like, I used to be addicted to alcohol. Now I feel like I'm addicted to learning. And that's cool. That's really cool. So 3 years later, I have a cat for my anxiety. I'm addicted to learning, and I am a health and wellness professional. And I'm still pursuing burlesque and producing sold out shows and traveling all over the state and performing with people I love. And that's awesome. I feel like my burlesque career, I'll close this episode off by talking about burlesque and all that. My burlesque career since I've been sober is truly thriving. I am open to actually meeting new friends and making meaningful connections with other producers. And I'm not as anxious, and I feel more comfortable in my body, and I feel like authentically me on stage. I don't feel like I need to pretend to be anybody else. I feel like I'm 100% me, and I'm creating acts that are deep and meaningful to me, and really going out there and sparkling in my own way. And I think that's really cool. I think that, again, being sober helps me see really clear in the planning and the execution of my acts and of my productions. And I'm really proud of my cast. I'm really proud of myself, and I'm really proud of all the work everyone puts in. So I love what I do. I love burlesque. I love producing Bad Witch Burlesque shows. I am planning some really cool stuff for Bad Witch Burlesque that will be coming to some streaming platforms soon. So if you like podcasts and you like Bad Witch, you might want to stay tuned for announcements on that, which is very exciting. Yeah. So planning some big things. Just put out the casting for our last Me Theater show of the year, and I'm going to be casting Spooky Empire pretty soon too, because we got confirmed for that. So I'm just really blessed to be living my dreams and to be doing everything sober. Lastly, I just want to share a little story about a conversation I had with a family member about my nieces. They're both under 3. I don't talk about them in detail because, that's private, but I will say that I said it's so cool that I'm 3 years sober and they're under 3, so they'll never see me drink alcohol. I'm never going to be the wine aunt. Back in the day, I always thought I was going to be the wine aunt. So much cooler not being the wine aunt and showing the young kiddos in your life that you can do absolutely anything that you put your mind to, and you can have a glamorous, fun, cool, silly life and all these fun adventures, and you can do it absolutely sober. So I love being that person, and I love being able to just rest easy knowing that I am a good influence on their lives, and that I'm showing them that you can be super cool and badass and be sober. And I'm also really happy that I get to share that with all of you. So if you've been with me for all 20 episodes, I just wanted to say thank you. If this is your first episode, you have a backlog of episodes that you can catch up on. You are never alone in your journey. And if you are celebrating day 1 of sobriety, year 3, year 10, I'm just really happy that you're here. Please be proud of yourself, celebrate all your milestones, and remember that this is a journey. Every day is not going to be perfect. Every day is not going to feel perfect. If you have a craving one day, it's okay. Just remember that that doesn't define you, and don't give in to it. You're sober, you're strong, you're a badass. We are badasses. We are sober, we're strong, we're badasses together, and we can accomplish anything that we want, and we can do anything that we put our mind to, totally fucking sober. So those are my 3 years of sobriety updates and reflections. I hope you guys like them. Season 2 will be coming out this holiday season, so we can, navigate the holiday season together. I'll have some special guests. The production value is going to be raised up quite a bit, and I'm very excited. If you guys aren't following me on YouTube, please do so, and on Instagram, but definitely YouTube, because I'm planning some long form content on there that's going to be very wellness focused and some sobriety content as well. So make sure that you go to the Life with Lashes YouTube and subscribe. Or if you're watching this on YouTube right now, subscribe for sure. No matter what platform you're listening on, I'm happy you're here, and I can't wait to see you in season 2. Love you guys so much. Bye bye. Thanks for being here. Mwah.